And welcome back to another edition of Issues in Education. Mondays during the Noon Report, we spotlight the issues that matter most to our public schooling families with Dr. Ralph Kerr at the Teaching and Learning Institute. Ralph, this will be our last chat before the school year starts again. It won't be long before fall classes begin. Give me your best guess, sir. What do you think the school year will look like come the fall as we still battle the coronavirus?
Well, Bob, I really think that by fall the schools are going to be fully open. There'll be no mask requirements. There'll be no social distancing. And for sure, the teachers will be working even harder than they have in the past because of all the loss that's occurred in instruction over the last year and a half or so.
Yeah, and a far cry from where we were last September when we had those cohorts A and cohorts B and hybrid models. You think that is all done and over with?
I believe it is, and I'm certainly hoping and praying that that's the case.
All right. You mentioned the summer brain drain that typically happens during the months of July and August, but it seems to me that is compounded this year with so much in-school instruction lacking over the past year and a half here. How do teachers begin to make up for lost ground there?
Well, normally what teachers do is they review for the first few days what was taught the previous year because most, if not all, of the students are moving up a grade. I think that's probably going to take a little bit longer, and they're going to have to make some real curriculum adjustments. And while we're there, let me just say something to the parents, and that is I would really encourage you this summer particularly to encourage your children to go to the library or take them to the library, get them involved in some reading. And also, I know, Bob, baseball is really important to you, and there's a great way to help children with their math, and that is to get them involved in maybe scoring baseball games. If they're watching on TV or attending a game, have them use a scorebook. Teach them how to do that, and they can work out percentages. Can be a real help in keeping their math skills alive. And
with all the runs that we give up on our team, you can really work on your math. I don't know how contentious things got at Arkport Central School back in the day, Ralph, when you were superintendent there, but my, oh my, there was a school board meeting recently in Loudoun County, Virginia, where they actually had to call the cops in. Really turned into a free-for-all. Protests over the critical race theory and other things being proposed there in the suburbs of D.C. Why is there, and it seems like so much of this is parent-led protests, why is there so much anger out there in parent land these days? And is this kind of unprecedented to have school board meetings turn into these sorts of events?
It really is unprecedented. We just haven't seen this before. Generally, school board meetings get a little hot when they're talking about athletics or maybe a coaching change, but it's unusual, but I think a good thing in many ways to have parents concerned about what the curriculum in their school district is. And that's what was happening here. I think also it bears repeating that this shows the importance of having good people on your school board because it could well be that had different people been on the board, this would not have happened and certainly should not have happened in the way that it did.
I'm curious, how would a Ralph Kerr, I know those days are long behind you, and I'm pretty sure you're glad they are, but how would you have handled a situation like what unfolded there in Loudoun County, Virginia?
Well, hopefully we'd never gotten to that point, having the public that upset. You know, I think what happened there was this sort of like the old adage that they were trying to close the barn door after the horses were already out.
Yeah.
Probably if that had happened, I would have made sure that the board president clearly stated the protocols of the meeting, things like, will not tolerate any personal attacks or name calling, where the protocols were clearly outlined would have been a better approach to the whole situation than ending up in a board meeting where people were arrested. It's really unfortunate that that's where we've come to.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, another reason why we need good Christians involved in our public schools, and you have information on your website where folks can find out more about what they need to know to run for their local school board. Ralph, where can they find that?
That's simply whyrun.org. byrun.org.